Hey everyone, look at the ghetto rat pretending she belongs here. Tyler Morrison's voice boomed across Whitmore University's packed cafeteria. Maya Johnson sat alone, quietly eating her sandwich. At 19, her thrift store clothes immediately marked her as an outsider in this elite world. Tyler grinned wickedly as three fraternity brothers flanked him, phones already recording for entertainment. He grabbed Maya's lunch tray and deliberately flipped it. Food splattered across her lap, sauce staining her only clean shirt. Maya stood slowly, sauce dripping from her clothes. Her movements were unnaturally fluid, like water flowing upward. She reached for napkins with hands that stayed perfectly steady. Tyler stepped closer, invading her space. Maybe Daddy's food stamps can buy new clothes. The crowd erupted in cruel laughter. Maya's breathing remained completely controlled, her posture unnaturally balanced. Something lethal flickered behind her calm eyes. Have you ever been underestimated so badly that people couldn't see the fighter standing right before them? Whitmore University represented everything America's elite wanted their children to inherit. Nestled in Connecticut's rolling hills, the campus gleamed with marble walkways, ivy-covered brick buildings, and perfectly manicured lawns maintained by an army of groundskeepers. Annual tuition hit $60,000 more than most families earned in a year. The Greek system dominated social life here. Fraternity houses lined Greek Row like monuments to privilege, each one a testament to generational wealth and connection. Sigma Alpha Epsilon sat at the apex, its Georgian columns and pristine white facade broadcasting superiority to anyone who dared look up. Tyler Morrison had been groomed for this world since birth. Fourth-generation Whitmore legacy, his great-grandfather's name adorned the business school's main hall. His father owned Morrison Construction, the empire that built half of Connecticut's luxury developments. His mother sat on the university's board of trustees, wielding influence that could make or break careers. Tyler moved through campus like a young emperor surveying his domain. Designer clothes tailored perfectly to his athletic frame, hair styled by Manhattan's most expensive barbers, everything calculated to project power and breeding. Other students stepped aside when he approached, seeking his approval like subjects before a throne. But Tyler's crown rested on something darker than achievement. He viewed the university as his personal hierarchy, with himself at the top and everyone else arranged below according to their usefulness to him. Scholarship students, minorities, anyone who didn't fit his narrow definition of belonging, they existed only to be reminded of their place. Maya Johnson's world couldn't have been more different. Her father served overseas, deployed for the third time in 5 years. Her mother worked double shifts at a Hartford hospital, leaving Maya to live with her grandmother in a modest apartment 20 minutes from campus. The scholarship covering her tuition represented 4 years of perfect grades, community service, and essay contests. Thousands of hours of work condensed into one acceptance letter. Every morning at 5 a.m., while Tyler slept off another fraternity party, Maya practiced in the empty campus recreation center. Her movements flowed like water, each technique executed with precision that would have impressed Olympic coaches. She'd started karate at 3 years old when her father returned from his first deployment and noticed his daughter's unusual focus and balance. Sensei Kim had trained her since she was 8. A former Olympic coach who'd relocated to Hartford after his competitive career ended, he saw something special in Maya's discipline. Under his guidance, she'd earned black belts in Kyokushin karate, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and taekwondo by age 17. She'd won national collegiate tournaments, but Maya never spoke about her achievements. To her, martial arts wasn't about fighting or domination. It was meditation in motion, a way to center herself when the world felt chaotic. Each morning's practice prepared her not for battle, but for the daily challenge of existing in spaces where she wasn't wanted. Maya's wardrobe came from thrift stores and clearance racks, carefully selected pieces that were clean and professional but clearly second-hand. Her textbooks were used, highlighted by previous owners, bought online for fractions of bookstore prices. She worked 20 hours a week at the campus bookstore, organizing inventory and helping students find required readings she often couldn't afford herself. But those who observed closely might notice things that didn't quite fit the struggling scholarship student narrative. Maya's posture was unnaturally perfect, spine straight, shoulders square, weight distributed evenly on both feet. She moved through crowded hallways without bumping anyone, seeming to sense obstacles before seeing them. Her reflexes were lightning quick, catching dropped items before they hit the ground. Most telling was her breathing. While other students huffed climbing stairs or rushing between classes, Maya's respiration remained steady and controlled. During stressful moments, difficult exams, confrontational professors, social awkwardness, her breathing never changed. It was the breathing of someone who'd spent 15 years learning to remain calm under pressure. Her only real friend was Jasmine, a junior from Detroit, whose academic scholarship had brought her to Whitmore's economics program. They'd bonded over shared experiences of not belonging, of being constantly reminded that their presence was charity rather than merit. The contrast between Maya and Tyler couldn't have been starker. Where he demanded attention and respect, she sought invisibility. Where he used his family's power to dominate others, she channeled her skills towards self-discipline. Where he saw enemies and obstacles, she looked for understanding and common ground. But Tyler Morrison was about to learn that quiet strength could be far more dangerous than loud privilege. Advanced Economics Seminar met in Whitmore's prestigious Hamilton Hall. Professor Williams paired students for projects, believing diverse perspectives enhanced learning. Maya arrived early, settling into her back row seat with her worn laptop and meticulously organized notes. Her economics research was flawless charts, graphs, and analysis demonstrating genuine understanding. Tyler strolled in late with fraternity brothers Jake and Connor flanking him. "I've assigned project partners," Professor Williams announced. Maya's stomach tightened, hearing her name called with Tyler's. Tyler's reaction was immediate and loud. "Seriously? I have to babysit the diversity hire?" Students glanced up, some snickering. Maya kept her expression neutral, breathing shifting to controlled rhythm. She opened her laptop, revealing months of research-detailed economic models and international trade analysis. Tyler peered at her screen dismissively. "Did you plagiarize this from Wikipedia? Hood rats don't understand real economics." Before Maya could respond, Tyler slammed her laptop shut deliberately. "That was my semester's work," Maya said quietly. "Prove it," Tyler grinned, pulling out his phone to record. "Your ghetto word against mine." He picked up his large coffee cup, holding it over Maya's laptop. His eyes never left hers as he slowly tilted it. Hot liquid poured across the device, seeping into every crevice, destroying months of research. "Oops," Tyler said with mock concern. "Maybe welfare queens shouldn't have nice things." Jake and Connor burst into laughter, recording Maya's humiliation. Other students looked away uncomfortably. Professor Williams returned as Maya desperately tried saving her laptop with paper towels. Coffee had done irreversible damage. "Maya, be more careful with beverages around electronics," he said without investigating. Tyler played the concerned classmate perfectly. "I warned her, Professor. She was so careless." Maya looked up from her destroyed laptop, meeting Tyler's smug expression. Something dangerous flickered in her dark eyes, not anger, but cold calculation. She bowed respectfully. "I apologize for the disruption." As Maya knelt wiping coffee from the floor, Tyler leaned close enough only she could hear. "Welcome to Whitmore Scholarship, bitch. This is just the beginning." Maya's hands stilled for one moment. Tyler had no idea the woman kneeling before him had trained since childhood to handle far more dangerous opponents than entitled college bullies. Tyler Morrison's morning routine unfolded like a ritual of privilege in his corner suite at the Sigma Alpha Epsilon house. The marble bathroom gleamed under designer lighting as he examined himself in mirrors that cost more than most students' monthly budgets. His walk-in closet displayed rows of designer shirts, each one worth a week of Maya's bookstore wages. Breakfast waited downstairs, prepared by the house staff his family's donations helped fund. Tyler descended the grand staircase like a prince reviewing his domain, fraternity brothers already gathering around him with phones and eager grins. "Dad always says maintaining standards is a responsibility," Tyler explained to his audience. "You can't let the wrong element take over or the whole system collapses." In Tyler's worldview, Whitmore existed as a carefully constructed hierarchy. Legacy families like his occupied the apex, their children destined for Wall Street, political power, and country club memberships. Scholarship students represented chaos, unpredictable variables that threatened the natural order. Maya's very presence challenged everything Tyler believed about how the world should work. Her academic excellence, despite her background, suggested that merit might matter more than birthright, a concept that terrified him more than he could admit. The escalation began subtly during Maya's first week after the laptop incident. Tyler positioned himself strategically in hallways, timing his movements to create accidental shoulder checks. Each collision was calculated, hard enough to hurt, subtle enough to seem unintentional. But Maya absorbed every impact without stumbling, her martial arts training providing balance Tyler couldn't understand. "Weird," he muttered to Jake after their third failed attempt to knock her down. "It's like she's made of concrete." Week 2 brought social media warfare. Tyler's Instagram post featured Maya's scholarship application photo alongside the caption, "When diversity quotas go too far, #Whitmore standards #maintain excellence." Within hours, it garnered 300 likes from Greek life and legacy students. Comments flooded in with increasing cruelty. "Why do we even let these people in? My tuition shouldn't subsidize charity cases. She probably cheated on her entrance exams." Maya saw every comment but never responded. Her silence only emboldened Tyler's followers, who interpreted her restraint as confirmation of their superiority. Week 3 escalated to public humiliation in the main dining hall during peak lunch hours. Tyler spotted Maya in the food line and saw his opportunity for maximum audience impact. "Back of the line, welfare queen," Tyler announced loudly, stepping directly in front of her. "People who actually pay tuition eat first." Students immediately pulled out phones, sensing viral content. Maya stood her ground, meeting Tyler's eyes with unsettling calm. "I have as much right to be here as anyone," Maya said quietly. Tyler stepped closer, using his height advantage to loom over her. "Rights? You think you have rights at this institution? This isn't some community college in the projects." Maya's breathing shifted to the controlled rhythm Sensei Kim had drilled into her since childhood. Tyler noticed her stance change subtly, feet positioning themselves with mathematical precision, weight distributing perfectly between both legs. "What's that supposed to be?" Tyler laughed, though something in Maya's posture made him slightly uncomfortable. "Some tough girl poses from the streets?" He shoved Maya's shoulder hard, expecting her to stumble backward into other students. Instead, Maya absorbed the force completely, remaining motionless as Tyler's own momentum carried him slightly off balance. The crowd murmured in surprise. Tyler's attacks usually sent his targets scrambling for safety, but Maya stood like a mountain, immovable and unnaturally stable. "Bitch thinks she's strong," Connor laughed nervously behind his camera. Tyler's face reddened with embarrassment and growing anger. His public humiliation of Maya was supposed to demonstrate his dominance, but her supernatural balance made him look clumsy instead. Week 4 brought academic sabotage through family connections. Tyler's father made strategic phone calls to university administrators, questioning Maya's test scores and demanding investigation into potential cheating. Dean Patterson summoned Maya to his office, surrounded by intimidating portraits of wealthy donors and university founders. The meeting felt like a trial where she was presumed guilty. "Maya, concerns have been raised about your recent performance improvements," Dean Patterson said uncomfortably. "Your test scores have increased dramatically since enrollment." Maya sat perfectly straight, hands folded calmly in her lap. "I study 6 hours every night and work with tutors when possible. Of course, the dean continued, but given your background and the significant jump in your academic performance, some community members find it difficult to believe these improvements are entirely your own work. The implication hung in the air like poison. Maya was being accused of cheating not because of evidence, but because her success challenged assumptions about what scholarship students could achieve. I can provide study schedules, library records, and tutor testimonials, Maya offered quietly. Dean Patterson waved dismissively. That won't be necessary yet. Just be aware that we're monitoring your academic progress closely. Maya left the office understanding that the entire institutional system was aligned against students like her. Excellence would be questioned, achievements attributed to fraud, and success treated as evidence of cheating. That evening, Tyler celebrated with his fraternity brothers in their private lounge, expensive whiskey flowing as they planned their next move. She's learning her place, Tyler declared confidently. These diversity admissions always fold when they realize how things actually work here. Jake pulled up social media metrics on his phone. Your posts about her are getting crazy. People love watching entitled scholarship kids get reality checks. Tyler's social media campaign had evolved into sophisticated psychological warfare. Fake accounts amplified his content, bot networks spread his hashtags, and coordinated harassment campaigns targeted Maya's academic reputation across multiple platforms. But Tyler made one crucial miscalculation in his escalating campaign of abuse. He assumed Maya's silence indicated submission, that her refusal to retaliate meant she was broken and defeated. He couldn't see the controlled breathing exercises she performed between classes, the meditation techniques that kept her centered during his attacks, or the way her hands unconsciously moved through defensive positions when she thought no one was watching. Tyler Morrison was systematically destroying what he thought was a helpless victim. But Maya Johnson was quietly preparing for war, and her training had taught her that the most devastating counterattacks often came from opponents who appeared completely defenseless. The next phase of Tyler's campaign would push Maya past her breaking point, but not in the way he expected. The campus recreation center stood empty at 5 a.m. Maya moved through her kata with unusual aggression, each technique sharper than her disciplined training typically allowed. Her kicks cut air like blades, punches terminating with explosive snaps that echoed off walls. Sensei Kim entered quietly, observing her disturbed energy. At 62, the former Olympic coach could read emotional states through physical technique. Your spirit is disturbed, Maya, he said softly. Maya's hands stilled mid-form. He's trying to destroy everything I've worked for. My scholarship, my reputation, my future. Sensei Kim approached with measured steps. And you want to destroy him in return. Which of you follows the warrior's path? I can't keep absorbing this abuse. It's affecting my grades, my mental health. Then don't absorb it. Transform it. Remember, the greatest victory comes when your opponent defeats himself. Maya began pacing, her analytical mind shifting into strategic mode. He needs an audience. Everything he does is performed for social media validation. And without that audience? He's just another insecure boy hiding behind family money. Her phone buzzed with Jasmine's text. Meet me at the library, found something important. 20 minutes later, Maya found Jasmine surrounded by laptops and documents. Her friend had been systematically documenting Tyler's harassment campaign. Half the campus is tired of Greek life's bullying, Jasmine explained, showing spreadsheets and social media analytics. They're just scared of retaliation. Maya studied the meticulous evidence screenshots, timestamps, witness testimonies from other targeted students. Look at this pattern, Jasmine pointed. Tyler escalates with the maximum audience. He backs down when isolated. His power comes from social validation. Maya understood immediately. Tyler's greatest strength was his critical weakness. Remove the audience, his identity crumbled. We fight him psychologically, Maya murmured. Let him reveal his character when he thinks he's winning. Maya's phone buzzed. Tyler's Instagram story featured her photo. Time to teach the diversity hire real lessons. Tomorrow's assembly should be educational. 50 likes in 5 minutes, cruel comments flowing. Tyler was planning public humiliation in front of the entire student body. "He's giving us exactly what we need," Maya said quietly. "A public platform where his true character will be impossible to hide." Tomorrow would be Tyler's moment of triumph, or his complete destruction. The university's grand auditorium buzzed with 800 students packed into theater-style seating for the mandatory diversity and inclusion assembly. Red velvet chairs filled with the usual suspects, Greek life clustered in the center sections, scholarship students scattered along the edges, international students grouped together for mutual support. Tyler Morrison commanded his fraternity's prime real estate in the 5th row, designer polo shirt and perfectly styled hair, making him look like a catalog model for privileged youth. Jake, Connor, and 6 other Sigma Alpha Epsilon brothers flanked him with phones positioned strategically for optimal recording angles. Maya entered through a side door, choosing an aisle seat near the back where she could observe without drawing attention. Her thrift store blouse was pressed and professional, her posture unconsciously perfect despite the hostile environment. Dean Patterson droned through his prepared remarks about campus inclusion and respectful dialogue, his words floating over students more focused on their phones than his message. Maya listened carefully, knowing that Tyler would wait for maximum audience attention before making his move. The assembly broke for a 15-minute intermission, and Tyler's opportunity arrived exactly as Maya had predicted. As students stood and stretched, Maya walked toward the restroom, passing directly by Tyler's row. "Watch this," Tyler whispered to his recording fraternity brothers. He extended his leg across the aisle just as Maya approached. The move was calculated, deliberate, and performed with the casual cruelty of someone who'd never faced consequences for his actions. Maya's foot caught Tyler's ankle, but instead of stumbling forward as he expected, she caught herself with supernatural balance. Her martial arts reflexes engaged automatically, absorbing the disruption with fluid grace that made the attack look clumsy rather than effective. Tyler's face flushed with embarrassment. His signature move had failed spectacularly, making him appear foolish in front of his recording audience. "Watch where you're stepping, ghetto trash," Tyler announced loudly enough for half the audience to hear. "Maybe learn some basic manners." Students throughout the theater turned toward the commotion, phones immediately emerging from pockets and purses. The energy shifted palpably as 800 people sensed drama unfolding. Maya turned to face Tyler with unnaturally calm composure. "I apologize if I disturbed you." Her polite response only inflamed Tyler's wounded ego. He stood up abruptly, using his 6-foot frame to tower over her in an obvious intimidation display. "Apologize?" Tyler's voice carried across the now silent auditorium. "You people think you can just walk through here like you own the place. This isn't some inner-city high school." The racial undertones in his language sent ripples of uncomfortable energy through the crowd. Students began recording more deliberately, sensing they were witnessing something that would explode across social media within hours. Maya remained perfectly still, her breathing controlled and steady despite the public humiliation. But those who looked closely might have noticed her feet positioning themselves with mathematical precision, her weight distributing evenly, her hands relaxing into positions that suggested years of trained muscle memory. "I was simply walking to the restroom," Maya said quietly, her voice carrying clearly in the acoustic-perfect theater. "Walking," Tyler laughed mockingly, playing to his audience by recording phones. "You mean strutting around like you belong here with real students who actually earned their spots?" He stepped closer, invading Maya's personal space with aggressive body language designed to make her back down publicly. "Let me guess. Affirmative action got you in, welfare keeps you fed, and now you think you're equal to people who actually deserve to be here." The crowd stirred uneasily. Tyler's language had crossed from bullying into openly racist territory. but his fraternity brothers continued recording with encouraging grins. Maya's response came in a voice so calm it seemed otherworldly. "I'm not looking for conflict, Tyler. I just want to finish my education." "Education?" Tyler's laugh was cruel and performative. "What kind of education do you think you deserve here? Maybe I should teach you what real respect looks like." He shoved Maya's shoulder hard with both hands, expecting her to stumble backward into the theater seats behind her. What happened next occurred so quickly that most witnesses needed to watch the resulting videos in slow motion to understand the sequence. Maya shifted her weight with minimal visible movement, redirecting Tyler's aggressive force using fundamental Aikido principles. His momentum carried him forward as she sidestepped fluidly, causing him to stumble into his own fraternity brothers who were too busy filming to catch him. The crowd gasped collectively. Tyler's signature intimidation technique had not only failed, but made him look completely incompetent in front of 800 recording witnesses. Tyler's face turned crimson with rage and humiliation. He scrambled to his feet, ego shattered by his public failure. "You think you're tough, scholarship bitch?" Tyler's voice cracked with desperate anger. "Let's see how tough you really are." He drew back his right arm and threw a haymaker punch directly at Maya's face with enough force to cause serious injury. The attack was vicious, intentional, and captured from multiple angles by dozens of phones. Maya's response demonstrated 15 years of disciplined martial arts training compressed into 3 seconds of fluid motion. She ducked under Tyler's punch with minimal effort, the blow passing harmlessly over her head. As his arm extended past her, she caught his wrist with precise timing and applied gentle pressure to a specific nerve point. Tyler's hand immediately went numb, his fingers opening involuntarily as his phone clattered to the floor. "I don't want to hurt you," Maya said clearly, her voice carrying to every corner of the silent auditorium. Tyler tried to grab her throat with his free hand, desperation overriding any strategic thinking. Maya flowed like water around his clumsy attempt, using a basic hip throw that redirected his momentum rather than opposing it directly. Tyler landed softly on the theater carpet, completely unharmed but thoroughly outclassed. The throw was so gentle that he could have been lowered by an invisible crane, yet so decisive that his aggressive attack was neutralized completely. 800 students watched in stunned silence as Maya extended her hand respectfully to help Tyler stand up. "Are you hurt?" she asked with genuine concern. "I only use defensive techniques." Tyler slapped her offered hand away violently, his wounded pride making rational thought impossible. "You psycho bitch!" he screamed, voice echoing off the auditorium walls. "She attacked me! Everyone saw it! This crazy ghetto rat assaulted me!" Dean Patterson rushed down the aisle with campus security, but the damage was already complete. Dozens of students had recorded the entire incident from multiple angles, capturing Tyler as the clear aggressor and Maya using minimal defensive force. Within minutes of the assembly's end, videos flooded social media platforms with hashtags that would define the next phase of the story. Yash. Whitmore. Karate Girl. #justice. For Maya. #Tyler. Gothound. #self-defense is not violence. The initial video posted by Jake, intended to humiliate Maya instead, showed Tyler's racist language followed by his failed attack and embarrassing defeat. Comments exploded across platforms. "This girl's technique is absolutely incredible." Tyler finally picked on someone who wouldn't be intimidated. She didn't even hurt him, but completely destroyed his ego. Perfect example of real martial arts discipline versus entitled aggression. Within 6 hours, the video had garnered over 100,000 views. By midnight, it reached 1 million. By the end of the week, 5 million people across multiple platforms had witnessed Tyler Morrison's public humiliation and Maya Johnson's controlled defensive response. But Tyler's response to his viral embarrassment would prove that wounded narcissists are far more dangerous than confident bullies. The crisis management firm arrived at the Morrison family estate within 12 hours of the video going viral. Bentley and Associates specialized in reputation rehabilitation for wealthy families facing public scandals, their track record including defense of politicians, celebrities, and corporate executives caught in compromising positions. Tyler's father, Richard Morrison, paced his mahogany-paneled home office while 3 consultants analyzed social media metrics on multiple screens. His construction empire had weathered economic downturns and regulatory challenges, but his son's public humiliation threatened something more valuable than money family reputation. "The narrative is completely against us," lead consultant Patricia Bentley explained, her voice clinical and professional. "Your son appears as the aggressor in every angle. We need to flip this story immediately." Richard Morrison's jaw tightened as he watched his son's defeat replayed from 6 different camera angles. "What do you recommend?" "We reframe the entire incident. Tyler becomes the victim of a premeditated assault by someone weaponizing martial arts training against innocent students. We position this as a campus safety issue, threatening all students." The transformation began within hours. Professional bot networks flooded social media platforms with coordinated messaging. Sophisticated algorithms amplified carefully crafted content while suppressing videos that showed Tyler's racist language and aggressive behavior. Manufactured testimonials appeared across platforms, claiming Maya had a history of violent behavior and anger management issues. Fake witness accounts described her as looking for fights and using her martial arts as weapons against defenseless students. Tyler's exclusive interview with a local news station aired that evening, his performance coached by media professionals who understood exactly how to generate public sympathy. "I was just trying to be friendly, to include her in our campus community," Tyler explained to the sympathetic interviewer, his voice perfectly calibrated for maximum emotional impact. Then she just exploded with this trained violence. "I've never been so terrified in my life." He rolled up his sleeves, revealing barely visible bruises that could have come from any recreational activity. "She could have killed me. These martial arts techniques are basically weapons. How is that different from bringing a knife to school?" The interview went viral within hours, generating thousands of supportive comments. This poor boy was brutally attacked. "Why do we let violent people into our universities?" "She should be in prison, not college." "Martial arts training should disqualify people from student status." Original videos showing Tyler's racist aggression mysteriously disappeared from platforms, removed through coordinated false reporting campaigns. Maya's defenders found their accounts suspended or shadow banned, their voices systematically silenced by algorithms designed to suppress dissent. The legal escalation came 3 days later. Morrison family attorneys filed a comprehensive lawsuit in federal court, seeking damages for assault, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and weaponization of martial arts training against innocent civilians. The courthouse steps press conference generated national media attention. Richard Morrison stood flanked by expensive lawyers and crisis management consultants, his message carefully crafted for maximum impact. "Our son was violently attacked by someone who used extensive combat training to assault a defenseless student," he announced to rolling cameras. "This represents a clear threat to campus safety that demands immediate action." Maya received legal papers at her grandmother's modest apartment, the documents' weight crushing her hopes of quietly continuing her education. She sat at their small kitchen table, reading charges that could destroy her academic future and saddle her family with overwhelming legal debt. The federal hearing took place 2 weeks later in an intimidating courthouse where Maya's family felt completely out of place. They sat on hard wooden benches facing a legal team that cost more per hour than her grandmother's monthly Social Security check. Morrison's lead attorney was Margaret Thornfield, a Harvard-trained litigator specializing in high-profile civil cases. Her opening statement was masterfully constructed to reframe Maya as the privileged aggressor and Tyler as the innocent victim. "Your Honor, The defendant possesses black belt rankings in multiple deadly martial arts disciplines, Thornfield argued with convincing authority. She used these weapons, and make no mistake, her hands and feet are registered weapons against an ordinary college student who was simply trying to navigate a social misunderstanding. Maya's overworked public defender, James Rodriguez, was clearly outmatched by the sophisticated legal assault. His caseload included 60 other clients, leaving him minimal time to prepare adequate defense against Morrison's coordinated attack. Your Honor, my client was defending herself from sustained harassment and a physical attack that was recorded from multiple angles, Rodriguez offered weakly. Thornfield interrupted smoothly. Defending herself? Mr. Morrison weighs 170 pounds and has no combat training whatsoever. Miss Johnson is a lethal weapon disguised as a student. Her response was grossly disproportionate to any perceived threat. The witness testimony phase revealed the extent of Morrison family influence and preparation. Tyler took the stand with performance-quality emotional control, his story refined through weeks of coaching. I approached Maya because I wanted to apologize for our earlier misunderstanding, Tyler testified, his voice cracking with practiced vulnerability. I thought maybe we could start over, be friends even. Then she just attacked me with these karate moves. I thought I was going to die. Tyler's fraternity brothers provided perfectly coordinated testimony, their stories identical in suspicious detail. Each witness described Maya as the clear aggressor, Tyler as an innocent victim trying to make peace. When Maya took the stand, her honest account sounded rehearsed compared to Tyler's polished performance. Her natural composure worked against her, making her appear cold and calculating rather than genuinely defending herself. I only used minimal defensive techniques to protect myself from his attack, Maya testified truthfully. Thornfield pounced immediately. Minimal techniques? You threw a grown man to the ground using deadly martial arts methods you've spent 15 years perfecting. How is that minimal? Federal Judge Harrison was clearly influenced by community pressure and Morrison family connections. The family's political donations and university board positions created subtle but undeniable pressure for a ruling that would satisfy powerful constituencies. Given the defendant's extensive combat training and the severity of this unprovoked assault, I'm granting the comprehensive restraining order, Judge Harrison announced. Miss Johnson cannot come within 500 yards of Tyler Morrison, his residence, or his regular campus locations. The cruel genius of the legal trap became immediately apparent. Whitmore University's campus measured less than 400 yards at its widest point. Maya was effectively banned from attending classes, accessing the library, eating in dining halls, or living in dormitories. National media coverage painted Maya as a dangerous vigilante expelled for bringing violence to peaceful academic institutions. Headlines across major networks reinforced Morrison family messaging. Violent student expelled after federal court rules campus threat. Martial arts attack raises questions about campus safety. When self-defense becomes assault, the Whitmore University case. Maya's supporters found their voices systematically suppressed across social media platforms. Original videos that clearly showed Tyler's racist aggression and physical attack were buried by algorithmic manipulation, making the true story nearly impossible to find. Maya sat in her grandmother's apartment that evening, watching Tyler being interviewed on national television as a campus safety advocate and survivor of educational violence. Her scholarship was terminated, her academic future destroyed, her family facing potential bankruptcy from legal fees. Her grandmother placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Baby, sometimes the truth takes a long time to cut through all the money and lies, but real truth has a way of finding the light eventually. Maya stared at the television screen, watching Tyler's performance with new understanding. This wasn't about justice or campus safety. It was about power, privilege, and the systematic destruction of anyone who dared challenge entrenched hierarchies. But Maya Johnson had been training her entire life for battles that seemed impossible to win, and somewhere in the darkness of her apparent defeat, The seeds of Tyler Morrison's ultimate destruction were already beginning to sprout. The anonymous email arrived at 3:47 a.m., its subject line cutting through Maya's sleepless night like a blade of hope. The evidence they don't want you to see. Maya opened the encrypted message on her grandmother's ancient laptop, her hands trembling slightly as she read the sender's words. They think they destroyed all the proof. They were wrong. Download the files. Share everything. It's time for the truth. The attached USB drive's contents made Maya's heart race. 47 gigabytes of high-definition security footage from every corner of Whitmore's campus, covering the entire semester of Tyler's harassment campaign. Time-stamped, date-coded, and captured from angles that revealed every detail of his systematic abuse. By dawn, Jasmine arrived at the apartment with 3 other students Maya barely recognized: a computer science major named David, a pre-law student named Sarah, and an investigative journalism student named Marcus. Each carried laptops and determined expressions. "We've been working together for months," Jasmine explained, setting up a makeshift command center on the kitchen table. Tyler's harassment wasn't random, it was systematic, and he's targeted dozens of students over 4 years. David, a quiet sophomore with thick glasses and extraordinary technical skills, pulled up spreadsheets that made Maya's eyes widen. "I've been tracking social media manipulation patterns, bot networks, and algorithmic suppression. The Morrison family hired professional reputation management firms." Sarah opened legal documents with practiced efficiency. "My father's a civil rights attorney. He's been helping me understand the constitutional violations in Tyler's campaign. This isn't just harassment. It's systematic deprivation of civil rights under color of institutional authority." Marcus activated recording equipment with journalism student precision. "I've been documenting everything for my senior thesis on institutional racism in elite universities. But now we have enough evidence to expose the entire system." The evidence was overwhelming. Security footage showed Tyler planning attacks, coordinating with fraternity brothers, and deliberately targeting students who wouldn't fight back. Audio recordings captured him using racial slurs and outlining strategies for keeping standards high at Whitmore. Text message chains revealed the sophisticated nature of his campaign. Tyler had researched Maya's background extensively before their first interaction, identifying her vulnerabilities and planning specific attacks designed to humiliate and isolate her. Financial records showed Morrison family donations strategically timed to coincide with Tyler's disciplinary incidents. Every time Tyler faced potential consequences, family money appeared to smooth over problems and silence complaints. Most damning were testimonies from 43 students who had suffered similar harassment campaigns. Tyler's pattern was consistent: identify vulnerable targets, escalate systematically, use family influence to avoid consequences, then move on to new victims. "He's not just a bully," Sarah explained, analyzing the legal implications. "He's running a systematic campaign of racial and economic harassment under protection of institutional corruption." Maya studied the evidence with growing understanding. Tyler's power came not from personal strength, but from coordinated institutional support, sophisticated legal protection, and psychological manipulation techniques refined over years of practice. "We need him to reveal his true character publicly," Maya realized, in a setting where his preparation and coaching can't help him. The opportunity came through Whitmore's formal mediation process. Maya's legal team requested a face-to-face meeting with Tyler, mediated by university officials, to resolve the conflict through dialogue rather than continued litigation. Tyler agreed immediately, confident that his legal victory had broken Maya completely. He saw the mediation as an opportunity for her public surrender and his final triumph. The meeting took place in Dean Patterson's conference room, with university counsel present and recording equipment running. Tyler arrived flanked by his expensive legal team, his demeanor confident and controlling. Maya entered alone except for her overworked public defender, but her posture radiated calm strength that should have warned Tyler he was walking into a trap. "Tyler," Maya began quietly,
I want to understand why you've worked so hard to destroy my education.
Tyler's response was immediate and condescending. Destroy? I've been trying to help you understand how things work at institutions like Whitmore. Some people belong here, others don't. And you decide who belongs? My family built half this campus, Tyler replied with casual arrogance. We've been maintaining standards here for 4 generations. It's not personal, it's institutional responsibility. Maya leaned forward slightly, her voice remaining perfectly controlled. So your harassment campaign was about institutional standards? Tyler's lawyers should have stopped him, but his ego overrode their caution. It wasn't harassment, it was education. You needed to learn your place in the hierarchy. My place? Look, I don't have anything against your people personally, Tyler continued, his casual racism flowing freely. But when you let the wrong elements in, standards collapse. Dad always says diversity quotas destroy excellence. Maya activated the recording app on her phone, placed openly on the table. Tyler was so confident in his legal protection that he didn't recognize the trap closing around him. Tell me about your education methods, Maya prompted. Tyler's detailed confession flowed like water from a broken dam. He described researching Maya's background, planning accidents to humiliate her, coordinating social media attacks, and using family influence to manipulate university investigations. The laptop thing was perfect, Tyler bragged. Destroy her work, make her look clumsy, then watch her scramble to recover. These scholarship kids fold when they realize how powerless they really are. And the legal case? Pure genius, Tyler's arrogance peaked. Dad's lawyers turned your moment of violence into our permanent victory. Now you're banned from campus, your scholarship is gone, and everyone knows what happens when people like you try to rise above your station. Maya's next question cut to Tyler's deepest insecurity. What would happen if people realized you're not actually superior to anyone? That without your family's money, you're completely ordinary? Tyler's mask slipped completely. I am superior. My bloodline, my family's contributions, my natural leadership, everything about me proves I deserve to be at the top. Your bloodline? Some people are born to lead, others to follow, Tyler declared with Nazi-like conviction. It's not racism, it's biology, natural hierarchy. People like you serve people like me, that's how civilization works. The recording captured every word of Tyler's white supremacist ideology, his admission to systematic harassment, and his family's corruption of university processes. Maya had goaded him into revealing his true character, while he thought he was explaining his inevitable victory. Tyler, Maya said quietly, you've just confessed to federal civil rights violations, conspiracy to deprive citizens of constitutional rights, and systematic harassment campaigns, all recorded and witnessed by university officials. Tyler's face went white as he realized what had happened. You can't. That recording isn't legal. My lawyers will what? Maya smiled for the first time in months. Explain to federal prosecutors why your family corrupted university processes to cover up your racist harassment campaigns? Tyler lunged across the conference table, his composure completely shattered. You scheming bitch, I'll destroy you! Maya's response was swift and precise. As Tyler tried to grab her throat, she applied a gentle joint lock that immobilized him completely without causing injury, all while university counsel and recording equipment documented his violent attack. I think this meeting is concluded, Maya said calmly, maintaining perfect control while Tyler writhed helplessly in her defensive hold. Tyler Morrison had just destroyed himself more completely than any physical defeat could have accomplished. His recorded confession would soon become evidence in federal civil rights investigations, his family's corruption exposed, and his true character revealed to the world. The psychological battle was over, and Maya Johnson had won without throwing a single offensive technique. Tyler's desperate lunge across the conference table marked the exact moment his carefully constructed world began collapsing. Maya's defensive joint lock immobilized him completely, while Dean Patterson and University Counsel watched in horror, their recording equipment capturing every second of his violent breakdown. "That's completely unacceptable behavior, Mr. Morrison," Dean Patterson declared, his voice shaking with the realization that Whitmore University had been harboring a systematic civil rights violator. "Security will escort you from campus immediately." Within hours, Maya's strategic evidence release created a digital tsunami that no amount of Morrison money could contain. The 47 gigabytes of security footage flooded social media platforms simultaneously, uploaded by dozens of student accounts coordinated by Jasmine's network. #Justice. For Maya exploded across every platform as the original unedited videos resurface. The hashtag generated over 2 million interactions in the first 6 hours, driven by authentic outrage rather than manufactured bot campaigns. Tyler's recorded confession played on loop across social media, his white supremacist ideology and systematic harassment admissions shocking viewers who had initially supported him. Comment sections erupted with genuine horror. This psychopath was planning racist attacks for months. His family paid to cover up civil rights violations. Maya showed incredible restraint dealing with this monster. Tyler needs to be in federal prison, not college. The Morrison family's crisis management firm abandoned their client within 24 hours, recognizing that Tyler's recorded confession made reputation rehabilitation impossible. Professional bot networks went silent, algorithmic manipulation ceased, and truth flooded back into public consciousness. Federal authorities moved with unprecedented speed. The FBI's Civil Rights Division launched a formal investigation into Tyler's harassment campaign and his family's corruption of university processes. The Department of Education opened parallel inquiries into Whitmore's institutional discrimination. Judge Harrison's restraining order was dismissed with prejudice, the federal court acknowledging that it had been obtained through perjury and manufactured evidence. Maya's full scholarship was restored with additional academic support and a formal university apology. Tyler faced immediate suspension pending comprehensive investigation. His Harvard Business School acceptance was revoked after administrators reviewed his recorded confession. Graduate programs across the country quietly removed his name from consideration lists. The Morrison family's construction empire faced coordinated boycotts as their corruption became public knowledge. University contracts worth $50 million were canceled immediately, with other institutions reviewing their relationships with the company. But Tyler's personal destruction was just beginning. His fraternity expelled him unanimously, his brothers desperate to distance themselves from his recorded racism. Former friends blocked his social media accounts, deleted photos containing his image, and publicly denounced his behavior. The academic investigation revealed Tyler's extensive cheating history, protected for years by family donations and administrative corruption. His grades were retroactively reviewed, revealing systematic dishonesty that invalidated his entire academic record. Criminal charges followed swiftly. Federal prosecutors filed conspiracy charges related to civil rights violations, while state authorities pursued harassment and assault cases. Tyler's legal team, once confident in their client's protected status, began negotiating plea agreements. Maya's private meeting with Tyler occurred 3 weeks later, arranged through her legal team in a neutral location with security present. Tyler appeared broken, his arrogant demeanor replaced by hollow defeat. "Maya, Tyler's voice cracked as he struggled to form words. "I realize now that everything I did was completely wrong. I destroyed people's lives because I was terrified of being ordinary." Maya listened without interruption, her composure unchanged by his apparent remorse. "I know this doesn't fix anything," Tyler continued, "but I need you to understand that your strength exposed something terrible in me that needed to be stopped." "Tyler," Maya replied quietly, "the tragedy isn't just that you chose cruelty over compassion. It's that you never considered the humanity of people you saw as beneath you." Tyler nodded, tears streaming down his face. "I don't expect forgiveness.
I just needed you to know that you were right to fight back. The national movement Maya's courage had sparked grew beyond anyone's expectations. Stand Up for Justice reached university campuses across America, inspiring students to document and expose systematic harassment campaigns that had operated in the shadows for decades. Sensei Kim's wisdom proved prophetic during their reunion at the campus recreation center. You understand now, Maya. Your greatest victory wasn't defeating your opponent physically, but maintaining your integrity while helping him reveal his true character to the world. Maya's transformation from harassment victim to justice advocate occurred naturally. She established the Campus Justice Documentation Project, teaching students to systematically record and report discrimination while protecting themselves legally. Whitmore University underwent comprehensive reforms. Anonymous reporting systems were implemented, bias training became mandatory for all students and staff, and the Maya Johnson Center for Campus Justice was established with substantial funding. The institution that had once tried to destroy Maya now celebrated her courage. Her story became required reading in orientation programs, a testament to the power of principled resistance against systematic oppression. Tyler Morrison's fate served as a warning to privileged students across elite institutions. His federal conviction resulted in 2 years in minimum security prison, 5 years probation, and mandatory community service in programs serving the communities he had targeted. His family's reputation never recovered. The Morrison name became synonymous with corruption and racism in academic circles, their legacy permanently tainted by their son's recorded confessions and systematic abuse of institutional power. Maya Johnson had achieved something far greater than personal vindication. Her courage had exposed and destroyed an entire system of protected harassment, creating lasting change that would protect future generations of students from the cruelty she had endured. The underestimated scholarship student had become an unstoppable force for justice, proving that authentic strength always defeats artificial privilege when truth finally comes to light. 2 years later, Maya Johnson stood at the podium in Whitmore University's packed auditorium during National Campus Justice Week, addressing the same space where Tyler Morrison had tried to destroy her future. Her keynote address drew standing ovations as Maya outlined practical strategies for confronting institutional discrimination while maintaining personal integrity. True power isn't about who can inflict the most damage, Maya explained to her audience. Real strength means having moral courage to stand up for justice, even when facing overwhelming opposition from corrupt systems. Maya had completed her economics degree with highest honors, receiving graduate school acceptance letters from Harvard, Stanford, and MIT. But her greatest achievement was the ripple effect her courage created across American higher education. The Campus Justice Documentation Project now operated at over 200 universities, teaching students systematic approaches to exposing harassment while protecting themselves legally. Tyler Morrison's story served as a cautionary tale studied in psychology and law schools nationwide. His recorded confession became required viewing and ethics courses, demonstrating how privilege without accountability corrupts moral judgment. Tyler emerged from federal prison irreparably damaged. His conviction prevented employment in his chosen field, his family's business dissolved under boycotts, and his name remained permanently associated with racism and institutional corruption. He now worked minimum-wage construction jobs, attended mandatory counseling, and performed court-ordered community service. During their final encounter, Tyler broke down completely. "I destroyed everything because I was terrified that without my family's money I was nothing special," he confessed. "Your courage exposed the monster I had become." The quantified impact was staggering. Campus harassment decreased 80% at institutions implementing Maya's protocols. Student reporting increased 400% as anonymous systems reduced retaliation fears. The Maya Johnson Center for Campus Justice processed over 1,500 cases, achieving justice in 93% of documented incidents. Her systematic evidence collection revolutionized how universities addressed discrimination. Most importantly, Maya's story inspired students to refuse silent suffering. The hashtag Stand Up for Justice movement reached millions who found courage in her example. Maya concluded her address with direct challenges. Every person here has hidden strengths that could change someone's life. The question isn't whether injustice exists, we know it does. The question is whether you'll find your way to fight it. Share your stories in the comments below. Tell us about times when you were underestimated or found hidden strength. Use #MyHiddenStrength to help others discover their warrior spirit. Subscribe for more stories of people who refuse to accept injustice silently. Share this video with anyone who needs to remember that authentic strength defeats artificial privilege when truth comes to light. Maya's final message resonated across the auditorium. Sometimes the person being underestimated most severely is exactly who society needs to witness, rising up with dignity. Be that person. Find your inner warrior. Stand with those who need defenders. The video concluded with Maya teaching self-defense to diverse student groups. Her grandmother's words provided perfect closure. That young woman always had everything she needed inside herself. She just had to learn the right time to reveal it to the world. Final statistics demonstrated lasting impact. 25 million views generating $75,000 for campus justice organizations, 500 students enrolling in character-based martial arts programs, and policy changes at 75 universities nationwide. Maya Johnson proved the meek could inherit the earth, not through violence, but through unshakable moral integrity, inspiring others to demand justice.